every time I film, my room slowly becomes more and more of a jungle, but kind of living for it. So hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's a good day. I hope you're feeling it. So today I thought that I would do a very exciting video for me, a book recommendation video. So I get asked every single day about book recommendations for this, that and the next topic, and I love books. You guys know that I'm a huge bookworm. I've loved reading for literally my entire life, and now obviously I'm a Muslim, and I think books are an amazing source of knowledge, especially for those who are wanting to learn about Islam. So I thought that I would compile a list of my favorite of all time books. So these are the books that I keep going back to. These are the books that I just really love, that I've read so many times and that I constantly reread and find new benefits in them. So today's video is a list of my favorite books of all time that I think that you need to get your hands on in the next year. And yeah, these are Islamic books, by the way, if you guys were a bit confused. But today's video is all of my favorite Islamic books and why I love them so much. These books are in no specific order whatsoever. So the first one is this one. So this is The Stories of the Prophets by Ibn Kathir. And Ibn Kathir, may Allah have mercy on him, was an amazing scholar. He does really good tafsir of the Quran, so an explanation of the Quran if any of you guys are interested. But something that I really love from him is this. This is The Stories of the Prophets. So this will give an in-depth story of every single prophet that we know about, from Adam alayhi salam to the Prophet Isa alayhi salam. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi salam is not in this book, but every other prophet is in this book. So we have the story written down, and it's not hard to understand the words of this book either, which is something that I really like about this book, is that it's like pretty easy to understand. But also it will have like a bunch of Quran references as you go along, so it's kind of like reading the Quran but in chronological order of existence, because we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his book, in the Quran, it's not in chronological order from the beginning of creation to the end of time. It's all jumbled up in the Quran. So an easy way to understand and read the Quran in a way that is kind of like more of a storytelling format is with this book. So I really like this book, and I think that it's really important to study the Prophet's lives, because they are essentially our biggest role models, or they should be our biggest role models. These are the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent for us to have lessons from, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wouldn't give us knowledge about these people unless we were supposed to gain something from them. I have read this book maybe 5 times. I really just think it is amazing, and every single time I read it I gain something new and a new insight about how I should live my life. So that's the first one. By the way, I'm going to try to link as many of these books that I can find down below. I just got them from my local Islamic bookstore, and I'm sure that they're available on so many different places all over the internet. So if I don't link anything, or I can't find anything, or the places that I've linked isn't available in where you live, then I'm sure that you can just do a quick little Google search and find them available for you. The next book that I have for you guys is this one. This is When the Moon Split, a biography of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is a really I'm gonna keep saying this is a really good book. I love this. So this is obviously about our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it's an in-depth explanation of his life story from birth until death. And I really like it because you can see it's not super thick. There's one that's similar to this called The Sealed Nectar, but it is like probably this thick, and it's just, I feel, too detailed where it's hard to read, whereas this one is a lot more condensed, even though it still contains so much of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life. So if you're looking for a book about the Prophet's life, then I would recommend this one. And then maybe if you read this one and you feel like this, you still want to know more, then by all means go and read The Sealed Nectar. But this is where I would recommend you starting with, and the book that I would recommend about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life. Again, similar to the stories of the prophets, this has a whole bunch of Quran verses, and kind of when those Quran verses were revealed in the Prophet ﷺ's life and what he was going through in his life. Because we know that the Prophet ﷺ received revelation over a period of 23 years. So this is an explanation of how and why the Prophet ﷺ received some revelation and how those revelations applied to the Prophet ﷺ's life. So I really like this book. I think that it's really in depth and really covers a lot of different topics that the Prophet ﷺ went through in a way that doesn't compromise your deen, in a way that is authentic, in a way that is proper Islamic, without going too far into like a storytelling mode to the point that it doesn't even sound like non-fiction anymore, because this is a non-fiction book and it is a real story of the Prophet ﷺ's life. So I really like this book, and it's called When the Moon Split because that is one of the miracles of the Prophet ﷺ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed him to split the moon. So that is a really good book that I would really recommend you guys. This is my 3rd time reading this book and my 1st time actually owning a physical copy. Okay, the next book that I have for you guys, I've actually only read twice, but I really do enjoy this book. This is called Light Upon Light by Noor Fadhila Wahid. I don't know, could probably be completely butchering her name, but that's the book. I got this from Cube Publishing. They actually sent it to me, which is so exciting, the fact that a book company would send me a book, because you guys know I love books. I'm a little bit too obsessed. But I really enjoy this book, and I hope to write a book similar structure to this one. But what I really like about this book is that it kind of takes the form of a bunch of short lessons from this author's life with an Islamic spin on it. I feel like a lot of Islamic books are completely just dense with information about a specific topic, and it's kind of a little bit overwhelming to read it all at once. But this is the type of book that is thrilling enough that you want to keep reading, but also contains so much beneficial information. It's kind of like a self-help book, but like Islamic style. And I would love to make a book very similar to that. Obviously not about the same topics that this author has written about. But yeah, so it has like, look how short. This is like one little section of the book. Look how short it is. So it's literally a page and a half. And she has that all throughout the book. I'm pretty sure it's a female author. She has that all throughout the book of literally just tiny short lessons about how you can kind of improve your day-to-day life and things that she's learned along the way of her life. So I really enjoy this book. And if you're looking for a lighter, more refreshing, more rejuvenating read that isn't super dense and just makes you feel like happy and content to read, and you can read it quickly or you can read it one little section a day without feeling like you have missed out on something if you've got a busy schedule, then I would really recommend this book. The next book is called The Prophet's Prayer Described. This is from Sheikh Adbani, and I love this book. Like, I can't even express how much I love this book. My husband brought me it about a year ago now, and I have read it maybe 4 times in full, but I just refer back to it constantly. This is the type of book that I actually think about how much I need to read it again. In Islam, one of the most essential parts of our day-to-day lives is prayer, and this book covers prayer, the most in-depth guide to prayer that you could ever want or ever need or ever ask for. This has it without any schools of thought. This is the most authentic, verified version of how the Prophet ﷺ prayed and how we are ordered to pray. It covers any topic that you might be confused about when it comes to prayer. Why do some people do this? Why do some people keep their fingers straight? Why do some people pray with their hands here and some people pray with their hands here? Which is the best way to pray? Do we have to cover our feet when we pray as females? Do we not have to cover our feet when we pray as females? Everything that you could imagine that needs to be discussed in regards to prayer, I would argue, is inside of this book. It really covers and gives you an in-depth guide as to how to pray and how the Prophet ﷺ prayed in different ways for different reasons. So I really recommend this book. If there's one book that I think that will be most beneficial for anyone, it's this book. But in saying that, it's not the easiest thing to read where you're just going to be able to read it all at once in gain all of that knowledge and just have that stick in your head. You need to read this book slowly, and you need to like really take in the information, even highlight it if that helps you. But yeah, this is a really awesome guide, especially for anyone that's new to Islam, or even if you've been raised Muslim and your parents perhaps aren't the most knowledgeable on Islam. This book is really, really good for learning prayer in the most authentic and best way. The next book, this is called Reclaim Your Heart, and I actually recommended this book in my last book recommendation video probably over a year ago, and I actually fully got this book confused with something else. I don't know what was happening to me in that video, but I didn't even pick up on it, and a couple of you guys corrected me. But this book is the book that I like, not the one that I got confused with. This book is about love, and it's about how we need to reclaim our hearts and put Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the center of our hearts. Because whether we choose to admit it or not, and whether we like to believe it or not, every single thing in this world is based on love and based on hate. So this is about love, and how love can either hurt us or save us, and how love can either fulfill us or drain us. And this is about how we can master the art of loving, and how we can love in a way that's always going to fulfill us and always going to keep us pure and always going to assist us on our journey, and kind of the struggle between loving this dunya and loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, loving Islam and loving everyone else. It says it provides a new perspective on love, loss, happiness and pain, a menu of sorts. Reclaim Your Heart teaches readers how to live in this life without allowing life to own you. It is a menu of how to protect your most prized possession, the heart. I really, really love this book. I've actually only read it once, I must admit, but it is a book that I constantly just think I need to go back and reread this, because it is a really, really good book, and inshallah I'm going to be rereading it very, very soon. The next book is this book. It's called Kitab al-Tawheed, and it is from Sheikh al-Islam. This book, I'll admit, is not the most interesting read. It's not the most thrilling read. It's not the most, oh my god, I can't wait to pick this book up and give it another whirl type of read. But it is a super, super beneficial read. It is a really, really educational book, and it will take you through all of the basics of Tawheed, the oneness of God, and what it means to believe that there's only one God, and what it means to have God be your Lord, where nothing is before him and nothing is in front of him in this world. Because it can be a really constant battle to not put other things in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's position in your life. And so this book will go through what Tawheed actually is. And we know that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam spent the first half of his whole journey of prophethood just teaching this one concept of Tawheed. So it is the foundation of our faith and the foundation of Islam, and so it's a really, really important thing for us to learn about. I think that this book is a must-have for every Muslim. Even though it is not the most thrilling read, it is a basic and something that people overlook nowadays, but something that the Prophet ﷺ stressed so much for us. So I really, really, really think that everyone should read this book. I will put it right here in case any of you want to screenshot. And now for the last book that I have for you guys. This is called Enjoy Your Life. I also recommended this in my last book recommendation video about a year ago, and I got a bunch of people saying that we shouldn't read this book because the author is apparently not upon the right path and he's deviated and his character is flawed. I don't know, but people were saying don't read this book because it's from him. Even though there's nothing wrong with this book, don't read books from this author. However, I think that this book is a good book. So I'm not sitting here recommending this author, saying this author is the most amazing man ever. I'm saying that this book is a good book, and that is it. So this book is about interpersonal skills and social skills and the way of interacting with people that we should kind of have, and the benefits of interacting in a good way. And it has knowledge from the Prophet ﷺ's life and also from this author's life, in order for us to really understand the benefits of treating people in specific ways and how to kind of capture people's hearts in a way that will make them love us, in a way that will make them want to listen to us, and in a way that will ultimately guide people to Islam. Because obviously we are a demonstration of Islam as Muslims, and so the way that we treat people has a lot of importance. So I'll just read this. This book is both a practical, systematic guide to self-improvement and a treasure trove of historical incidents. The aim of this book is to train the reader to enjoy his life by practicing various self-development and interpersonal skills. What is so compelling and inspiring about this book is that in order to highlight the benefit of using social skills, the author draws on the life of the Prophet ﷺ and his companions. So I really like this book, and I'm not saying I recommend the author because I don't know anything about him, and some people are saying he's deviated. I don't know. All I know is that this is a really good book and I would recommend this book. So yeah, that is the last book that I would recommend for you guys. So that's it, you guys. Those are my book recommendations, things that I think that you should read in 2020, things, or even after. If you watch this video in 2 years time, I still think you should read these books. These books have been really beneficial for my life, really helped me on my journey of gaining knowledge, and I think that they'll be beneficial for anyone, whether you are new to Islam, whether you have been Muslim for 20 years, or whatever else. I think that these are really good books for the average person, and I would really recommend them. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys found benefit in it. If you're going to pick up any of these books, please let me know, because I would love to hear that you guys trust my recommendations. It's something that makes me really happy, and I would love to just know that you're reading a book that I love, because that would also make me really happy. So with that being said, I'm going to end this video here. It's a good day, and if you weren't feeling a good day at the beginning of this video, I hope you're feeling it now. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload, and with that being said, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.